Hey makers, this is Dhruvin, and in this episode we are going to talk about how you can display the Dataverse document into your PowerApps gallery and how you can provide the download link from it. So when you click on download button, basically that Dataverse document will be downloaded from your Canvas application. Let's talk about this end-to-end scenario in detail over here in this video. So without further delay, let's get started. But before that, if you haven't followed me on my Twitter and Instagram so far, do follow me, because these are the platform where I'm uploading most of the short content on the Power Platform. So here I am on my screen, and first of all let me show you the my overall table structure over here. So I have one Dataverse table called case document, and I have certain columns over here. I have one column called case number, which is my auto number column. Another column is my title column, where different case numbers are showing to you over here, and another is the file column over here. And this file column is something which is containing the different files over here. Now the goal here is I want to display all of these documents into my PowerApps Canvas application gallery as a preview. So I want to display all the file names over there, and when someone click on the download, the file should be downloaded over there. Alright, now over here let me just talk about one more important thing over here. So whenever you are having the Dataverse table and whenever you are having the file data type, the thing is that over here from the Dataverse itself, you cannot preview it easily, because in Dataverse the files are behind the scenes are storing into Azure Blob storage, and to download that you basically need to use some sort of web API for that. Now how to utilize this thing into the Canvas application and how it makes life simpler over there for previewing your document or downloading the documents, let's have a quick look over there. Alright, so first of all let me show you one simple record over here into the Dataverse itself. So when you click on the edit view in your Dataverse, make sure, let's say for an example, this is one of the file I do have over here. Alright, so select this and click on edit using the form. So when you click on edit using the form, if in the form you have included all your fields, basically you will be able to see this kind of thing where you can see your entire case detail here, and here you are having basically this particular file, and this file is something which you want to download over there. Alright, and now this entire thing you want to do into the Canvas application. So first of all let me start showing you all the documents over here into the Canvas application, and then we will generate the download link over there. So over here I have created one simple Canvas application, and I have connected my case documents table over here behind the scene in my Canvas application. Now I have taken one vertical gallery control, and now I'm providing the data source as case documents over here. So let it to be apply. So I provided my data source name as a case document. And now let me just configure the columns over here. So first column here, instead of this item dot created on, I just wanted to show here like a case number. So I'm just showing case number over here. And second thing I just wanted to mention over here that I want to show the file name over here. So for the file name, what is the file name that we are having into our Dataverse? So we have a column called file. So similar way, let's just provide here like this item dot file. Okay, and when you use dot operator after that, you are able to see two things over here. Number one is file name, and number two is value. So whichever file you have uploaded, if you just wanted to display that file name, you need to simply select that one. So I'm just simply selecting over here called file name over here. So let it to be selected, and for each case, whichever file I have uploaded, it's showing that file name to you over here like this way. So case number and file name, it is simply showing to you inside your gallery control. Alright, now the thing is that when you click on that file name, or maybe here let's provide some sort of download icon. Okay, so here instead of this kind of right arrow, I just change this thing to some sort of download button over there. Okay, so I'm just providing download button over here. Alright, and let me just change its color a little bit to dark blue like this, so it will look like this. Now what I want is when I click on this download button, at that time it should download basically that particular file. Alright, now how to write that particular syntax over here, let's see that. Alright, so to download the file from the Dataverse, as I said, we just need to generate, or we just need to construct one URL. And that URL is nothing but it is called as a Dataverse Web API URL. Now how to construct Dataverse Web API? Let's say if you don't know anything about it, how can you get about that? Alright, so let me show you simple trick around that. Whenever you have the download button, go to the on select property of that and let's write a code called download. So I'm just typing here my code download, and in download basically we just need to supply the URL. Okay, right now do simply one thing, do one trick, go to your Dataverse table. Okay, so I'm on my Dataverse table and open any record into the edit mode that you have already stored, and just use like edit using the form. And this form is nothing but simple like a model driven form, which is just showing you the data into this simple kind of out of the box Dataverse model driven form. Alright, now look at your file. So let's say this is your file, right? Now over here right click on that and click on copy link address. Okay, when you copy link address, now go to the Canvas application and paste that link address over here. Okay, and this is nothing but your overall URL. Okay, and this is called basically Web API URL for the Dataverse to download the file. Now over here I need to make this URL completely dynamically, because right now I have just copied it from here, right, which is just for this particular record, but I want to make it completely dynamic. So now let's try to make this out. Alright, so if you look at this URL, the first part over here is nothing but your environment URL. Okay, in whichever environment your Dataverse table is present, it represents that URL. Okay, and this URL you can easily find out from the admin center as well. So let's say if you are going here and click on admin center, just go to the environments where you are in. So let's say for an example, I'm going here in my admin center, let it to be open, and now let me just go here to manage and select my environment over here. So let's say I'm in my default environment at this point, and when you open your environment, basically this is the exact same URL that you are able to see here. So this environment URL is the first parameter that you just need to provide over here. Then this is the API endpoint, like API/data/v9.0, and this is the name of your table. So this is the internal name of your table. So my table name is case documents table. Okay, so basically it is taking the plural name of your document, plural name of your table. Okay, and how can you find that? PPT case_case document. So let's say this was my Dataverse table, right? Let's go back over here, and if you just look at your properties of your document, basically over here you can able to find out the internal name of your document over here. Okay, and basically it is just taking the plural name over there for yourself. Okay, so it is that a table name, and inside that table name it is just passing the GUID. Okay, so this GUID is passed over here. All right, and after that the column name, that which column you want to download. So our column name is a file column. Okay, in the Dataverse. So this is our column, and if you look at its internal name, if you edit this column, this is the exact same logical name that you are able to find this out. So this is your column name. Okay, and $value, which will give you, which will basically download that file. Okay, now here this is something I need to supply dynamically over here. Okay, so how can I do that thing? So what I'll do here is, to supply this value dynamically, let's just use double inverted comma over here, and in between that let's just append the GUID, and for that we will just use this item dot your whichever your table is there, case documents. Okay, supply that out, and basically this is providing you the GUID over there. Alright, so this is how you can simply make that attribute as well completely dynamically in the fashion. Okay, now let's check whether it's working fine or not. So let's say for an example, I'm just clicking on this document, and let's see what will happen. So when I click on that, you can see this file is downloading, and when I open that file, let's see how it looks like. So when I open it, it's just opening this image over here for me. Okay, so it's working fine. Let's say I'm clicking on this text file and clicking on download. So as soon as you do that, it's just downloading this file, and when I open that, it is just opening this kind of file to me over here, right? So this is now absolutely working fine. Alright, so what we have done on download, we just provided the simple code that whichever your environment URL is there, /API/data/v9.0, then your table's plural name, then your GUID for that particular row of the gallery, and then your column name and $value. This is how we simply supplied it over here. Alright, now let me talk about one more interesting thing over here. Many times what happen here is, this is the hard-coded URL that we have passed for this environment, right? Now let's say for an example, I want to make this environment URL as well more into dynamic fashion. So let's say when I move to my solution from one environment to another environment, at that time I don't need to open the app manually and need to change this URL over here. Okay, instead of that, I'm simply creating one environment variable. From that I can simply read out that environment variable value and show it to over here. So how can we do that activity? For that, simply go to your solution. So I'm just going to my solution over here, and I'm just creating one environment variable over here. For that, I'm clicking on new, then click on more and environment variable. Now over here, you can simply provide any name of your environment variable. So let's say for an example, here I'm just providing my environment variable name as environment URL. So let me just provide that name over here called environment URL. Alright, and now choose the data type. So I'm simply choosing the text data type over here, and after that you just need to provide any value to it, current value, which means that what would be the current environment URL over there. So right now I'm just supplying, this is the environment URL that I'm having at this point. So I'm just copying this value, but yeah, when you move your solution, obviously at that time you can simply change that current value for yourself. Okay, so I'm just providing this URL over here and clicking on the save button, and let this environment variable to be created. So let it to be. It is taking a moment to create that environment variable, and now let's wait. Now my environment variable created successfully over here. Now let's go again to my canvas application, and now over here let's consume that environment variable. So to consume the environment variable into your canvas application, simply you need to connect first of all two environment variable table. So search for the environment over here, and you will be able to find out two tables for that: environment variable definition and environment variable values. Okay, let's select both the tables over here one after another. So let's select this out, environment variable definition, and now let's select the another one, environment variable values. Okay, so here you can see this thing out. All right, now we just, instead of this, we just need to replace it with the lookup formula, and let's find out that value from our environment variable directly, instead of passing it as a hard-coded value. So what I'm going to do here is, simply this value is something I'm going to replace it out. So simply let's copy up to this point over here and make sure that what value you have set up inside your environment URL variable over here. So I think you have added before /value, so that value is something which you need to simply replace it over here. Alright, and for that what we will simply use here is, simply we will use the string concatenation concept over here, and for that I'm just using the this kind of curly braces, and before that I'll just take the $sign over here, and inside that I'll supply my lookup formula. Now let me just provide the lookup formula over here in a simple fashion. So in lookup I will just look up the table that we just added. So first of all, let me paste the formula over here so you will get a better idea around that. So we are looking up our environment variable value table, where we are checking that environment variable definition dot display name is equal to your variable name that you have defined over here when creating the variable of environment variable and value. Okay, this is what you are finding over here. Now let's see it is working fine or not. Okay, so we replace that thing with this kind of stuff. Alright, now let me just open up this one again, click on download, and let's see what happens. So as soon as it downloads over here, it downloaded the file. Let me open up the file as well, and it working absolutely fine. So now this is becoming complete dynamic with the environment variable over here. Okay, and this is how you can simply implement the complete display of all your file into your Canvas application gallery, and this is the way you can provide the download icon and people can just download that file from here, right? Isn't it cool? Hope this video is helping you and valuing your time. Alright, and if you want to download this particular code, the blog link is available in the description box. You can check it out and download this formula from there. Okay, or copy those formula from directly over there. Alright, with that note, I would like to end up this particular session. Hope this video helps you and values your time. If so, hit thumbs up and subscribe my channel. It's free for you, but it motivates me in lots of other way. Again, I'm saying that 80% of you are watching the content but not subscribing the channel. That's not fair. Please do so. And if you would like to enroll yourself into any of my training program, you can always look out the latest training program information from our website, or the links are available in the description box. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. With that note, this is Dhruvin signing off. See you in the next session with some amazing content. Till then, have a great day. Goodbye.